Good time zone, everyone. Oh shit, I'm already knocking stuff over. How are you doing? Who we got here? One sec. Buckridge Roy, hello. Of course, you're here. How are you doing? Love the thumbnails. Well, thank you very much. I try my best to be creative. I have no idea what I'll do next, and I always come up with them like a few hours. Well, not a few hours, but close to the time. As you can see, they're very professional. Jay Potter, good afternoon. Salari, good afternoon. How are you doing, my dear channel member? Wish it was late evening here. I'd not be working. Yeah, that sucks. All that precious few spare time that we all have. Is the music a bit loud? I feel like it's loud. Turn it down a bit. Okay. Curie is zooming, yes. Where? Come here. Let's get a little bit of Curie cam. One moment. Here she is. Hello. Likes the ears rubbed. There's Camus in the background. Say hi. Or don't. She has that look. You can always tell when she's ready to strike. You gonna stick around, or is that your only appearance for today? You're just gonna rub your face on the corner of the desk? Okay. Very aggressively. Anyway, that's Curie, everyone. And Sophie W, good early evening from mine. Nice to see you here. How you doing, Anne? Birdie, glad to see you are not dead. Wait, what the frick do you mean it's already 2 PM? I know, right? Days go quicker and quicker. I thought the days were meant to be longer, or feel long. I mean, the days are technically longer in the summer, but I remember when I was a kid, they used to feel longer. But then again, from what I've heard, like, as you get older, the passage of time feels a lot quicker than what it did when you were a child. Which, if you think about it, is pretty damn cruel. Because it means that the older you get, the less time you feel that you have to enjoy. I mean, I guess it makes the work day feel shorter, but, you know, at what cost? In my case, it's always wine o'clock somewhere. Me too, I guess. My dear wife, D. Salari. Hi, how is you from the bedroom? Dio, I'm logged in on my pain profile, but the chat says so. Pain profile? I mean, that's what I'd call it if I was on a dating site. Can only be here for the first part, but glad to be here anyway. I'm glad anyone that's here for any amount of time, I'm always greatly appreciative of. So, thank you for being here regardless of how long you can be, or if you're just lurking. I've been having some terrible insomnia actually, but this is fine, I'm okay. That is awful, yeah, I used to really struggle with insomnia. Longest I had was actually a 6-day stretch of not sleeping at all. It was horrendous. I got to the hallucination stage of insomnia, which I think, yeah, 6 days is like the hallucination stage, 7 days is where it gets worse, and beyond that, like, you're in danger. Yeah, I think the longest a person can stay awake is like 11 days or something like that. So yeah, if you are awake for so many days straight, see a doctor if you can, like, immediately. Like, a lack of sleep can be seriously bad for your health. I ended up just like seeing my doctor after like day 5, and I was just like, yeah, I need something. I just gave me like 2 sleeping pills, said take those, took them, slept like a log, and you know, it fixed it. I should have seen my doctor sooner, to be honest with you. Went to bed at 4 in the morning. You can't do that, do you? I mean, I say that as someone that goes to bed at 2 AM, but I get my 7 hours, you know? Why do I have a card? Oh, it's my insurance card. Okay. Rowan Ellis, hello. How are you doing? Heard you managed to get past a meeting. Always good. Meetings are horrendous. I'm Steve again. Ew. Steve. Dylan Reed Miller, hello, salutations all. Yes, Dylan and I have been celebrating the fact that season 2 of Severance is on the way, January 17th, if you're a fan of the show. And if you haven't seen Severance, you should absolutely watch it. It is one of the best shows in years. It's only 1 season so far, but that 1 season is rock solid. It is so damn good. It's on Apple TV, but you know, there ain't really much on Apple TV, if I'm honest with you. But, you know, if you know your way around the internet, you know, you can probably find it elsewhere. Which I do pretty often, to be honest with you. Because there is no way in hell that I'm paying for all of those damn streaming services. Yes, oh, thank you for the ceremony. Oh, good to see a fellow watcher. Tell you what, let me post the link to the trailer for those of you interested. Yeah, here's the very short teaser trailer for season 2. Doesn't give up much, but it's something, you know? Because there's been a long gap between that first season. Like, we were still mostly, you know, I think we were pretty deep in COVID around the time that first season came out. Speed. Babies. Evangelist, hello, nice to have you here. It's been a little while, haven't it? Hasn't it? Griffin Blevins, nice to see you too. And Elliot Anderson. Tremolo, Tremolo. Damn, now that's a cat. It is a cat indeed. How are you doing, Tremolo? Yeah, she's actually still here, grooming herself. Pretty lights. Pretty lights? The lighting setup in general? Or her chasing the lights? Because she loves chasing the lights. Well, actually, where we feed them, she would have a view of the patio window. And, you know, since we're in an apartment complex, we'll get cars going through in the parking lot fairly often. So, because she easily gets distracted, what we ended up doing was moving her to the other side of the kitchen island, so she has to face away from the doors. Because, yeah, every single time she just, oop, light, and then just give up eating. But the problem with that is that Camus, being the chubby little fella that he is, would end up going around to her side and then start eating her food. So he'd be like getting 1.5 his daily amount of food, creating an even chubbier boy. Looking at the PC setup and not the cat. Yeah, it's a pretty nice tower. I managed to get this on a really deep sale. I think it's a Corsair 5000X or something. I wanted a case with a lot of airflow in it. I don't really care about the RGBs and stuff in it. But yeah, usually it was like $250, but I managed to get it on a ridiculously low $115. I think it was like a Black Friday thing on Newegg. But specs of my PC, I have to have a good graphics card. Well, I mean, I do gaming, but at the same time, a good graphics card helps for like editing stuff, since the export times can be awful if you don't have a good GPU inside of it. So my graphics card, which I also managed to get for a really good price, is the EVGA RTX 380 Ti, and EVGA no longer make graphics cards anymore, so I hope maybe that becomes a valuable item in the future. I doubt it, but you never know. Intel i7-12700K processor. Corsair RAM, 32 gigabytes, Dominator RAM. Can't remember the clock speed, but the RAM was actually very, very, very generously purchased for me by someone who watched that video I did about YouTube being a nightmare. I jokingly added that wish list to the video, saying like, here's a list of the stuff that I could use that would improve production and help me work, and I told people not to buy stuff, and they did. Very nice things. I was genuinely taken aback. Like, I practically cried at people being so kind. I never know like how to like process kindness now. Like, even when people become like channel members and stuff, like I'm just like, wow, the stranger gave me money for doing something, like, and it's not a work environment or something. That's always like a very touching feeling. Oh yeah, and I have like 4 hard drives or disk drives in my PC, like 4 separate SSDs which I use for different things. So I have like work related SSD, one that I just stuff games on, one that I put other things on and everything. So yeah, I use a lot and I have like a media server thing, which, you know, it's good to have storage in this day and age. It's daylight until 9 p.m. but still feels short. That is true, yeah. Yeah, anyone here who lives in Europe will also know that the days last a lot longer in our neck of the wood. Like, you'll get nighttime at about like 11 p.m. or something like that. It's not great. Ooh, just the Dear Prince, thank you so much. I know you're also a patron as well, so thank you very much for your generosity. Is my alerts not working? But thank you very much, Dear Prince. Genuinely. It's very touching. And I appreciate your support on Patreon too. I think my alerts might not be working. I should have gone alert for that. I need the noise. Yes, and of course, as a channel member, you will get access to our nice emotes here, which are being designed by various people, including a very nice friend of mine who plays Final Fantasy XIV with me. That's the catgirl. My character in Final Fantasy XIV is the catgirl that you see there. My monitor 27 inch? My monitor is 27 inch, yeah. Evangelist, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's very kind. I am really touched by stuff like that, especially after I was just talking about it. But yes, enjoy your emotes as well. And if you're not a patron, like I said, if you're a channel, excuse me, if you're either a channel member or a patron, you get early access to videos. I usually put them in the community post thing, which I know is easy to miss, but yeah, it gives you some kind of access. And just so you know as well, like, the early access version that patrons and channel members get is the it's the specific version for them, which means that if you ever wanted to rewatch it, that is the ad-free version of it. It will remain ad-free. I don't just switch it into the public version or anything like that, so you'll always have access to that version. Yeah, my monitor is a 27-inch ViewSonic. I tried 4K monitor, but since I edit in 1080p, I mean, I'd love to upload 4K videos, but my upload speed is 20 megabytes a second, and 4K videos are so, the file size is shockingly large. Sorry, I'm running a bit ragged here. The file size is shockingly large. The only thing I can think of is just like encoding it again through a you know, video converter. like I use Wondershare to convert it, and that could knock it down a bit inside. But yeah, 4K file sizes, like to illustrate it, the videos that I upload, like the last video I made, that was about in 1080p, it was about 4 gigabytes in size. For a 4K video, it's like well over double that. It would be like 12, 13 gigabytes or something. And yeah, with a 20 megabyte upload, and the possibility of YouTube saying, you know, oh, there's problems with this video, which we're not going to tell you about. That means taking it down, re-editing it, waiting for the export, waiting for the upload, which will take like 3 hours or something like that. Yeah, it's not worth it. If I had Google Fiber, then I'd probably do it, because, you know, you got 1,000 megabyte upload in that case. But we do not have Google Fiber, sadly. With it being so hot this week, I feel like the days are too long. Yeah, luckily, you know, we have AC indoors in pretty much everywhere at the US, so that does help it. It does help with that kind of stuff. But yeah, when I was in the UK, I will say the days did feel excruciatingly long because of how hot it gets. Why not render in 1080p and upscale it to 4K? It just doesn't look as good that way. Because I record in 4K and I downscale that to 1080p, and a big reason why I do that is because, you know, like how you'll get like jump cut zooms to my face when I do that stuff. It's just because I want to maintain the resolution, even if it's a digital zoom like that. So I record in 4K so I can preserve it. But yeah, upscaling to 4K, I don't know, maybe I'll try one day, like just trying to convert it down or something. But, you know, I don't get a lot of complaints about visual fidelity and all that kind of stuff. So it's not really, you know, a priority, I guess. Plus, you know, I'm not like doing any fancy shots or anything. It's just me sat here, really. No one needs to see my pores. I read that when you try to do new things, it helps slow down time as you get older. I've not heard that, and I guess that's more encouragement than anything to try new things. As you get older, we process time faster. When I was younger, I was kind of fast too, but because I was shuttling back and forth. Yeah, things like commutes definitely do make things drag a bit more. It's the boring stuff that ends up making time feel like it drags. But, you know, like they say, time flies when you're having fun. Remember the meme, still in 2019 meme? Like the, kind of like the meme where it's like 2020 was just 2020 to 2024. That was a year, that kind of thing. Or 2016 was 2016 to 2019 was 1 year, like that kind of feeling. And the 1990s were 10 years ago, etc. Yeah, 6 days of insomnia, Dylan. And I had to work a bunch during that time. And it was awful. That was when I was working at IKEA. And I was having hallucinations in the middle of an IKEA. If you stay up 4 days straight regularly, it might be manic. And that was a time where my doctor suspected that I might have bipolar disorder. I've been cleared of that now, but for the longest time they did suspect that I had that. Turns out it was more akin to ADHD. And the medications that I was taking at the time was making me a bit manic. But yeah, did not help. Sleep deprivation is yuck. Absolutely, Tremolo. If we cross 11 days, will we die or just fall into a coma or sleep? I've heard that you just die once you hit 11 days. As far as I'm aware, yeah. Once again, I'm going through the circles of revisiting topics. I will try to break this vicious cycle. Only 3 years ago, I didn't sleep for 48 hours and got burned out, so I couldn't cram for my exams. Oof, that's rough. Yeah, having it around exam time or working, that's some of the worst time to get onto it. My autism latched onto Severance. I've seen it through 10 times in 2 years. That's a lot, but, you know, It's a great show, yeah. I'll have to revisit it at some point, since it's been so long. The only streaming service I pay for is Prime. We do have Prime, but we have this shitty ad version of it, so like recently we watched the Fallout show, and I was like, I'm not watching this with ads, so I just torrented it. Also, if you didn't see the Fallout show, it was actually really good. I was surprised how good it is. Anyway, wine o'clock. Chin chin. Walton Goggins, yep. Walton Goggins is a treasure. He's like caramel. Is the best part of everything he's in. And yeah, Dylan wrote a paper on it. It'll be an interesting read. And not to brag, but I introduced Dylan to Severance, so kind of, you know, credit should go to me in some way. I think Apple TV has some underrated show with great craftsmanship. There are some good stuff on there, like Ted Lasso season 1 was really good. Shrinking is pretty good. The problem is I can't really remember much that I watched on Apple. But it's, I guess the only grievance I have with it is just a lot of it feels like they're very much catering to their audience, which is, you know, they're going for that middle / upper middle class lifestyle kind of thing. There's not much on there that's gritty or anything like that. It just feels very polished, I guess. And there's nothing wrong with a polished show, but, you know, there's only really so many shows that I want to see about middle-aged white guy going through some stuff, which is multiple shows on Apple TV. Not bad shows, because Severance is one of them, but it feels like that kind of niche, really. Hello, it has. I was hitting a bit of a gross pit for a bit. We're trying to do better about that. I've been meaning to catch more streams. Well, I hope that you are doing better, Evangelist, and I hope this stream helps you in some kind of way. But yeah, it is very nice to see you again. I'm currently attempting to make my Steam Deck play Final Fantasy XIV because my computer room is way too hot right now. Are there any like workarounds to that or anything? Because I assumed you could be able to play it, but then again, well, are you using Steam or the launcher? Because I use Steam myself, as much as I wish that I used the launcher instead. Because, yeah, stuff never goes on sale through Steam. Palette cleanser for Severance will be Heartstopper. I've never heard of that. What's that about? Alright, tell you what, let me catch up. I'm gonna be so behind. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to skip some of your messages. I'll dot through them. Whatever that means. I started going to a psychiatrist for ADHD and she gave me fluoxetine medication for 8 days. And 8 days later, moved to a general one. After it's over, I think I tried fluoxetine for a bit. I don't think it worked well with me. But did it work out well for you, Elliot? More of Camus to love. Yeah, that's true. It is, you know. Plus he just looks goofy, being a little chubby boy too. Okay, I think I'm catching up. Monitor reminds me you can get the Innocent 4K mini LED monitor for $200 right now. I've never heard of Innocent I haven't heard of Innocent. Is it a good brand? Catgirls unite, indeed. I should play Final Fantasy XIV on stream sometime. I've been playing Dawn Trail, but I also don't want to do story stuff on here just because I want to watch it in my own time. And, you know, spoilers and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I could just do, like, daily duties or something like that. I know it's probably enjoyable for Final Fantasy XIV fans to watch. At least for them to critique my play methods. Don't know about for everyone else, though. My profile picture is my Final Fantasy XIV character. Let's see if I can see that. YouTube kind of sucks when it comes to functionality. I can kind of see it. It's very small. But yeah. Oh wait, I can see it in a larger icon. Nice pick. I like that one. Catgirls unite. I must insist that Ellison are top tier. That's a bold statement right there. I've got nothing against the Ellison. I think they have a very nice design. And like probably, I'd say like probably they're like the third most picked race in the game. I think Makote are the most popular, and Hyur might be second most, if I were to guess. That's the thing, like in a lot of games where you can create your own designs for characters, you know, like Baldur's Gate 3 for example, whenever they release statistics on like who is picking what. I remember in early access they released some stats for Baldur's Gate 3 on the kind of people, the kind of characters that people were making, and they revealed that the most popular race and class that people are picking is a white male paladin, and even the developers took a shot at the people who were making these characters and they said, stop being so boring, pick something else, which is a fair statement, to be honest with you. I've never been able to be anything but a cursed giraffe man. I've never heard them called Giraffe Man before, but they do have long necks. Question is, when are Alphanode and Alizé gonna have their growth spurt? They've been children forever. Spectrum says no. Spectrum says no to a lot of things, yes. They are not good. Plus they, like, I have to pay $100 a month for 500 download, 20 megabyte upload. Like, that's shit. In this day and age, your upload speed should be good. Like, there should be at least 100, because we upload so much data these days. Like, even as like casual users, we upload a lot of data, and especially people who work from home. So yeah, I don't get like why it's still so low. Well, I do get why it's still so low, because they can set it so low and gouge you for it, but you know, what to do. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing some games in 4K, because like I said, I did have a 4K monitor for a bit, and it was really nice, and, you know, having DLSS is really great for being able to upscale stuff without having to melt your GPU. You know, if DLSS and the like didn't exist now, like, GPUs would be in a very weird place where they simply couldn't keep up with the power of the graphical fidelity that we have these days. Salari is for sure Adam Scott's character. Certain aspects, yeah, I would say. I will say I would, because like, okay, so for a very, very, very quick synopsis of Severance, just at least the premise of it, it's about these people who work at a company where they have like a procedure done to their brain. I think it's like a little capsule that's put in their brain that basically makes it so that when they enter the workplace, their brain basically shuts out their outside self. Like, their personality and identity from the outside doesn't exist within the confines of this building. Tandy, thank you very much for becoming a member. Enjoy the emotes and all that kind of stuff. And thank you for being a patron too. How are you doing today, Tandy? Enjoy the catgirls. But yeah, Severance. And my goodness. Nice. Oh, now the alert started for some reason. Tanda gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much, Tanda. Here's all the pings. Who got some? Bojang Bugami, the Claven, Ben, Tanishk Pawar, and Pineapple Head. You all just received a channel membership. Enjoy the emotes and enjoy the early access and ad-free videos. Like I said, if you go to my channel and go to the community tab, you will see posts for channel members for the ad-free videos. But thank you so much, Tandy. Very, very kind of you. Such wonderful generosity today. It really warms my heart. I've been having a tough time lately, so seeing stuff like that, it really does, you know, make me feel better. I know it's not me trying to guilt anyone into, you know, giving me further generosity, just, you know, I like to get that stuff out there. But, you know, I am hoping that there's good news around the corner, because, yeah, some stuff has been, I'm gonna make like a Patreon video that's available to everyone soon, because, yeah, I just want to sort of like explain my situation from the beginning of this year, because, yeah, a lot has gone on which I haven't spoken about publicly, but I feel like I do need to talk about it just to get some insight as to like where I am with, you know, video creation, streaming, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I'll get to it. But yeah, so you get this like implant in your brain, and it separates your personality from your outside self. So you essentially become a new person once you step into this building. They keep your first name, but your last name is just a single initial. So yeah, it would just be like if Pokraj worked there, he'd just be known as Pokraj R. So yeah, they have no idea what this company does. The job that they do is borderline nonsensical, and there is a very, very strong like critique of capitalism in there, about how people are expected to transform themselves once they're inside the workplace and everything, abandon their self. They even refer to like their at work selves as innies and their outside self as outies. But like, characters are in there for a reason. They chose to work there for a reason, and it's not just for the money. In fact, I don't think they even get paid very well, at least by the looks of it. But yeah, it is a fascinating concept, and it also goes into sort of like the cult-like mentality that a lot of corporations have with their employees. Like, they expect that level of fealty for you to give it to them, like, you know, treating bosses as gods and all that kind of stuff. In fact, the boss of the workplace, like the founder of the workplace, they treat him like basically some form of like demigod or something like that. It is a fascinating show, and also beautifully shot too. Like, it's not just a fascinating concept, it's one of the best looking shows in here. Like, every shot is meticulously put together, and I always really appreciate that when they put it into TV shows, because, you know, we always talk about great cinematography in movies, but there is some staggeringly good cinematography in a lot of TV shows these days. You know, I just did that movie about not going to the cinema, not watching movies, and part of it is just because there's so much great TV out there these days. It's just like, I'd rather watch this than that, you know? Oh my god, have you seen the most popular character look? It's just the white guy. Yeah. Yeah, it's just the default. Kind of a bit of a lack of creativity, I guess. Generally, Final Fantasy XIV on Steam Deck works fine. Click into the Steam menu once when I start to get the controller working right. Okay. How's it play on it? Heartstopper is a coming of age, so set in a school comprising of a bunch of fun teenage characters covering the whole spectrum. Alright, I'll look up a trailer for it then. There seems to be a few 14 launcher for or streaming from your PS4/5 through Chiaki 4 deck, or streaming through the PC through Steam, if added as an external game using 14 launch right. Okay. A lot of hoops to jump through, but hopefully it works out for you. I don't know, bro, that medication is working out because I'm at a vacation now. Nothing of academic thing where I have to focus on the 4th day of medication, and it's my first time taking it. Okay, yeah, you know, you have to test medications under a certain amount. You get a real feel for how well a medication works under different circumstances. You know, for me, like, you know, it's like I take Ritalin for ADHD. Like, for work, it can be really good because it gives me additional focus. But if it's for just general daily life, it can end up just making me feel a bit on edge. So I have to be careful about when I take it. From what I've learned, from what I've researched, they seem alright. Getting mini LED for $200 is such a sweet steal. Usually sells for $800. Okay. I mean, if you fancy posting a link to it in the Discord, feel free to. I'll look into it. Because my second monitor is getting on in age, and it's got quite a bit of burn-in from certain things. Ella's in the top tier though. I mod them to be Garleans because Garleans are best boys. Pretend they aren't war-hungry fascists. Well, you know, they're doing better now. They're reforming society. No spoilers. But yeah, I get that. I wonder if they'd add Garlean someday into it, given the way that things have gone. I've seen more male Ellison than femme Ellison, but I'd be curious about stats these days. I would too. See, funnily for me, I notice more femme Ellison than I do male Ellison. Could be a server thing, maybe? I don't know. Oh my god. Oh wait, I'm rereading now. Good. Slowly getting through Baldur's Gate 3. Prefer to have company when playing. Oh, see, I prefer to go completely solo myself. I wouldn't mind doing a multiplayer run someday. They keep Alphanode and Alice at that age so we can tell who gives out red flags about bringing up the age of consent in Japan. Drinking wine on the bus. Sorry, once again, I'm trying to play catch up. Because as someone has very rightly pointed out previously, when it comes to catching up with the chat, I do end up going in circles, and the chat joins me in those circles where we end up talking about a previous topic and then revisiting it. It's kind of like if you imagine like a stack of something, like a stack of books. It's like up here, and it ends up going down in the middle of it, like the middle is skipped, then the chat starts talking about it, and then it just goes back to the top again. So it's just like a rotating, it's like one of those sushi bars where the place keep coming around, except someone keeps putting the sushi back, and by someone I mean me. Why are you not regularly uploading videos then if having a hard time? Isn't your video giving you at least double K views? All videos need to be ones like highly researched type. Well, that's the thing when it comes to doing videos in general. Like, it can be, you know, there are all kinds of factors that have an effect on productivity of making something, and it's not even just videos. You know, it can be people making art, people making food, like all kinds of stuff. And you know, there are elements of validation of making these things, and you know, much of the time I end up feeling like I'm not validated. And as someone with numerous lifelong struggles with validation, seeing a video not do very well, and don't get me wrong, like, you know, I don't expect millions of views or something like that. Seeing a video not do very well, seeing that you're not getting many patrons these days, seeing that your subscriber count isn't really going up. In fact, it's gone down since I've started streaming, because apparently that's how it works. Seeing all that stuff, like feeling like, you know, you're in stasis, or, well, when you feel like you're in stasis, one of the default feelings that you end up falling back on is just that you feel like things can only get worse from there. And even though I do try to keep up a element of positivity, it's really hard to. And when it comes to validation, like, most of us struggle with some form of validation, and it's hard for us to describe exactly what that validation is or what qualifies as validation. As a YouTuber, your validation is numerical, and it's on a screen right in front of you. It's not even just the validation of view counts and sub counts, it's the validation of like Patreon revenue. You know, and the reason why people always go on about Patreon is because it is far more reliable and far more healthier as a revenue source goes. And that's why I end up like pushing it every single video, because I'm like, you know, shares, likes, all that kind of stuff is great, but YouTube is balked when it comes to the way that they promote videos. You can have a video with a bunch of comments and it just won't promote it as well as you would hope. So, you know, with a video with like 50k views or something, you can earn like $150 for something like that. $150 for hours upon hours of work. And making videos isn't quick. It's not efficient. I've tried to streamline it as much as possible, and I've come up with a decent rhythm to it. But yeah, there are all kinds of like, I guess, mental health issues that end up kicking in once I'm starting a project. You know, stuff like thinking, is this going to be the one that just completely bombs? Like, is this going to be your last video because you feel that disappointment is too difficult to handle now? Is this going to be the thing that really upsets people, that makes people give up on you? Because it's like, oh, well, the guy can't pick a theme, so screw him. I'm not going to support him on Patreon. I'm going to unsubscribe. I'm going to go to a channel which does have consistent theming. And as much as I would like to stick to a theme, I get really bored by sticking with certain subjects. So yeah, it is a miasma of all different feelings that come with making a video. And outside of that, there is like, what's it called? I learned this the other day, executive dysfunction, which can hinder your ability to actually get to work and everything. So yeah, that mixed with like rejection sensitivity as well, it's a bitch, let me tell you. Like, it makes it very difficult. So I greatly admire people who have like that work ethic of being able to just like pump out stuff like multiple times a week or multiple times a month. And I won't lie to you, like, one of my hopes as I was doing this would be that I'd be able to get to a point where I could just afford to hire a video editor, like just someone to do the art research stuff for my videos, because I'm fine editing my camera footage, but all the other stuff like finding clips, finding images, all that stuff is a pain in the ass. Like, it takes so long. Like, you have no idea how long that stuff takes. And of course writing it, research, etc. So yeah, I would have hoped that at this point I could have got, in fact a while ago, I hoped that I could have got a video editor that could help me with it. I can't afford a video editor. They're not cheap. You know, if I wanted one to work on my video, it's like $200, $300 per video for something like that. And for illustration purposes, I earn like $310 on Patreon, and I have to cover my life expenses for stuff like that. You know, I've said it before, and I wasn't kidding then, and I'm not kidding now. I'm on poverty wages, below poverty wages, for how much I work and how much money I get for it. And you have no idea how many times I've gone over in my head, should you continue doing this, because it's not sustainable in any kind of way. And, you know, plenty of times recently that needle has been veering towards more of the don't do it side, as opposed to continue doing it. It sucks. And, you know, as I said earlier, lots of life stuff has gotten in the way of making this easy as a job. Like, lots and lots of life stuff. Really fucking big life stuff things. And I'm sorry that I went on a bit there. I know that was a lot. And, you know, Elliot, yeah? Elliot put the original message out there. Yeah, Elliot. I don't mean that to, like, be, like, you know, aggressive or, like, you know, anything like that. I'm just putting it out there. I don't take offense to what you said or anything. I had a bunch of salt and vinegar chips earlier. My mouth is just like endlessly dry now. Thanks to severance, I saw corporate red flags staring at me. I cannot commute to work for 9 hours. I had to pass up on that offer. I was told not to focus on negative things. Wait, you'd have to commute for 9 hours? Where is it? The moon? I hope they had Guardians as a human tribe or something. It wouldn't be hard to do. Yeah, it would be neat. I would have liked to have had... Like, it would have been cool if, like, in Endwalker, they did something like the Doma Restoration Project in Garlemald. Because I quite enjoyed that. It was a bit of a slog, but I quite enjoyed it still. Salari going solo on a side game, shocking. I mean, that's my playstyle these days. I really like to just go it alone. But I always am curious about co-op stuff. Like that game, It Takes Two. That was a really fun co-op game. Played it with my wife. I'll play BG3 with you. Hit me up. I haven't consistent enough friends to even finish the game once. I might take you up for that offer, yeah. Maybe even my wife can join in too. She's yet to finish the game. She got to Act 3 very recently. Guardians would be neat, or even more variations on some races. Curious to see if anything else will be added in the future expansions. I hope they at least add variations, because yeah, I think they've said that they're done with adding new races now. That the female Rogadin would be the last one. Yeah, we'll see, I guess. It's great seeing my hard work absolutely flop every Monday. Yeah, it takes its toll. Like, seeing flops, it is very, very, very demoralizing. And anyone in a creative field definitely knows that feeling. And yeah, it feels like there's only so many times that you can say to yourself, like, oh, you know, just keep going, it'll be fine. Try not to be too pessimistic here, bear in mind. There are some theories that streaming can negatively impact views and viewers, but I can't much say how much is anecdotal due to much of the methodology of the algorithm being obscured. However, it could be more due to the way that they virtually do not promote streams in a unique way, and the alerts and video spam can increase more to subscribers, which can drive some people to unsub if they were only subscribed for a type of content, etc. Yeah, that's kind of some assumption that I had. And you know, when you do stream on YouTube, like where you appear on someone's front page is like you have your name near the top of their sub box with the little red streaming icon on it, and sometimes you'll even just get dumped onto their recommended. And in theory, that sounds like a great way to get in front of your subscribers, because it's like you're reminding people that you still exist and everything. But by reminding people that you still exist, you could potentially be reminding some people that subbed a long time ago that you still exist, but they don't watch you anymore and they're not interested in your streams. So there comes the unsub. It's a very fickle ecosystem. You think most people will have attention span, find every video equally entertaining if it's a video essay? Most big creators' Patreon are done by fans or stans. And then the attention span? I don't know. The thing about attention spans is a weird thing on YouTube. Like, if you're a smaller channel, the less attention you can hold from people. But if you're a large channel, as we've seen numerous times the way of, you know, people like H-Bomber Guy, ContraPoints, whoever, like, you know, a big channel, Sean, like, you know, you can make a video that's hours long. You know, there was the big 4-hour-long video that H-Bomber Guy did at the beginning of the year, over 21 million views on that thing. And, you know, if you think back to early YouTube, the idea of a 21 million view video, sorry, the idea of a 4-hour video getting 21 million views is like absurd. But because H-Bomb does it, like, people go out of the way for that, you know, in many respects. And this is no shade or whatever to Harris, but yeah, if you you know, it's about being a name more than anything else. Like, people go out of their way to watch a video, regardless of what it's about, because it's being made by this person. And I would love to be at that spot, not getting 21 million views, but having consistent viewership because people like hearing me talk about whatever. And, you know, when I do make things, it's because I am genuinely interested in a topic, and I'm not trying to game the algorithm. I'm not trying to, you know, get something out of it. I don't approach it with the mindset of like, ooh, everyone's talking about this right now. Sure, I'll jump on board. You know, with the H-bomb thing, I could have made a video about plagiarism and whatnot, but I wasn't interested in it. So, and full disclosure, I've still not watched that video, which apparently is qualified as some kind of sin for not watching a YouTuber's video. But to be honest, I don't want to sit down for 4 hours watching a video, and I don't like splitting up things that I watch. I know the feeling. Unless I'm hyper fixated on something as a super interest, I rarely work on something very quickly. Yeah, and you know, motivation is a weird thing. And you have to be really interested. But even like when I've been really interested, I found that, you know, the subject that I'm super interested in at the time goes a lot quicker. So like that video I did on music, for example. I've always loved music throughout my life. I used to want to be a music journalist. So something like that, and given that I've had this sentiment for a long time about the industry, it flowed very well. Like, I was able to get from beginning to end with little interruption. But yeah, it's all relative, really. At one point I was doing a lot of art commissions, and it was fun. Then my brain said, nah, dog, not any fun anymore. So I'd stop taking them. Yeah, everyone has to hit that point, I think. It's just a matter of when. Everyone has their wall. Can confirm I do that sort of stuff for a couple of streamers. Yeah. It's, you know, and I don't begrudge anyone for unsubscribing because they just aren't interested in my content anymore. I get it, you know. I know that there's like a lot of people that sub to my channel because of the popularity of my video about loneliness in Japan. And clearly I do not make that kind of content anymore, and I'm not really interested in it unless it was something that I was very, very driven about. But as I've mentioned numerous times, like, that project was hell to work on. I made it all on my own with the exception of graphics by my friend Karashu. But like the research that went into that, I've mentioned numerous times that video took like 6-8 months, something like that, to make. It was a gauntlet to pass through. But I know that there's a lot of people that subscribed expecting me just to make stuff like that all the time, which to me, for me, simply isn't feasible. I have to accept that. I would love to do something like that a lot, but I am one person. If you don't mind me asking, how did you get into making videos? Honestly, it was fairly simple. For one thing, like, I have a degree in TV production, so I kind of already had the tools to edit, all that kind of stuff, like have a feel for it and everything. Back then when I started, like, I used to enjoy watching video essays, which, if I'm fully honest with you, I'm not a big fan of video essays anymore. I don't know. I'm just kind of bored of the genre, which I know is a lot for me to say as a video essayist, but I just decided, like, I'll just march to the beat of my own drum, really. But yeah, around that time, like, I was really into watching video essays, and I had some ideas of what would make a good video essay, and I thought, just like, you know, test the waters, make something that you would find interesting. And I was really in love with BoJack Horseman around the time, the show, not BoJack himself. But my wife found a job here in Charlotte. We used to live outside of Charlotte in a crappy little town, if I'm honest. And we wanted to come back here because this is where she was raised and born. So we ended up moving back here. I quit my job at the old place where we used to live. So I had some time off. I was like, I want to take a bit of time off. I don't want to just immediately jump into another job. So I I just decided like, yeah, why not try it? Why not make a video essay? You like BoJack right now? Talk about it. And so I did. And I enjoyed it. I kept like the fact that I was making it a secret to my wife and my family. So like when it was ready, I just like, hey, look at what I made. And I played it. And she really liked it. She said it was really well made and everything. Showed it to like my father-in-law. He loved it. So then I kept on going at it. And one day, and I mean just like this is how becoming a YouTuber works. You just make videos and then one day one of them might take off. Like that's it. Like just one video. There we go. Zoom, up you go. And yeah, that was it really. I got caught in the loop of making them. I was able to make a decent amount of income at first, enough to live by. But you know, as time went on, unfortunately I had drop off, which makes it less viable. If I'm just being 100% honest with you. But yeah, if you want to make videos, my advice to like people who want to make videos or always like ask about making videos is really straightforward. Is that if you want to make videos, do it because you want to have fun making videos. Like, don't worry about the restrictions of YouTube. Don't worry about being demonetized. Obviously, don't do stuff that's horrible or anything like that. But don't worry about all that stuff, copyright stuff or whatever. Just do it because you want to have fun. You know, and if things start taking off, then you can start worrying about all that other stuff, the demonetization and everything. Because for people who start making YouTube videos because they want to become like a massive success on the platform, I don't think you could ever truly be happy making videos if your only concern is success. But the way that I see it is that like, even if things don't end up working out, I was about to say fail, but I don't want to say fail. But if things don't work out, like, you know, if you never get your day in the sun with a video that like hits 1 million views or whatever, if you never get that moment, if one day you just decide to throw in the towel, or if you just decide to keep going regardless of a lack of traction, at the very least, at the end of all that, you can say to yourself, at least I had fun. And that's really what matters, because I got into it just to have fun. And yeah, I miss those days, genuinely do. I wish that I could just make videos without giving a damn. And to some extent, I do take that approach. But when it's your income, it's a little bit harder to justify. But then again, I'll be damned if I'm going to talk about like how right-wingers are miserable and all that kind of stuff. Like that stuff takes it out of you. More power to people who can do that. Act 3 of Baldur's Gate does feel weirdly different and a bit of a roadblock. Yeah, I found that Act 3 did drag quite a bit. It was a bit too bloated, and it really took the wind out of the big quest, you know, of saving the world and everything. And part of that is my fault, just because I do like all the side quests. But it kind of amazes me that there are people out there that are upset at the fact that many of the side quests were left on a cutting room floor. And to me, it's like, you don't need that many side quests. You think you do, but you don't. Like, that's always the weird relationship between like the audience and what a creator is offering. Like, always people have these ideas of what they want, but they actually might not be necessary. Like, every creative thing out there involves leaving stuff on the cutting room floor. I leave a lot out of my videos that I think about including, but I end up just dropping because it's like, it's not necessary. I feel it's not necessary, and it might just make something feel bloat. If anything was added to Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3, it would absolutely feel far too bloated. Just my opinion, bear in mind. Act 3 has so many directions to explore that it feels directionless and it's easy to run out of steam. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. I'm bound to finish it because it's also my friend very kindly bought it for me out of nowhere, and I'm still so appreciative of that. That is true, yes. But, you know, I'm sure that friend would say don't feel obligated if it doesn't end up coming to fruition. But I think you should finish it. My wife always has a bit of a habit of getting into the final hurdle of a game and then just sort of dropping off there. Like, she's like a couple hours away from completing Persona 5 Royal. And Kingdom Hearts 3 as well, if I remember right. Don't bother with the H-bomb video, to be honest. It's fine, but not a must watch. I gave it a shot to understand the discourse, but it wasn't all that. H-bomber video is basically people getting gossip hot from the presses. I'll be honest with you, like, part of the reason why I didn't want to watch it was just because I heard a decent amount of what it's about, and from that information I was kind of like, I'm just not interested in that. Not only am I not interested in it, but I'm not interested in 4 hours of that. And once again, this isn't me, like, you know, judging the content of the video. Like, if you liked it, absolutely fine, but to me it's like, once I got some understanding of what it was about, it was like, I don't think that's for me. But that's fine, you know, like, it's fine if someone thinks that about my video. Yeah, you should watch my video anyway. I'm kidding. My partner is going to be unhappy if he finds out I still haven't slept. Have you tried, like, breathing exercises, Birdie? Like the box breathing one? I've heard, you know, that can sometimes quite well. Like, getting more oxygen in your body can help with it. I found that it helps me with getting sleep if I'm struggling a bit. Also, there's like some EMDR techniques as well, like tapping. You might have to look it up a bit, but my therapist told me about it recently, where it's like you alternate like tapping on like your thighs or your knees, like back and forth. Like, just, well, I'll do it here, but it's like, you try to keep a rhythm and you count to like 40 on both sides, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. EMDR is a fascinating thing. I've only very recently learned about it, but yeah, look it up. It's interesting. I mean, if plagiarism video is alright as a video, but it really is just a lot of evidence for a very bold claim. I'd slate, for example, ContraPoint's longer video. I'd slate, for example, ContraPoint's longer videos as more artistically. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't like gossip in general. Like, I don't like YouTuber drama or anything like that. Like, I really couldn't give a damn, regardless of the channel that it's about. I mean, yeah, by all means, call out people for being shitty. But once again, like, 4 hours of, like you say, just evidence dumping. Like, yeah, it's just not for me. Satisfying and worth a watch for the sake of watching. Yeah, and you know, that can be fun too. Oh no, sorry, I work for streamers as an editor / manager and assist with research and do thumbnails, not unsubscribe. Oh, okay, okay. It's fine, like, it's fine. The vague statements are fine, because like I said, you know, I keep going around in these circles, so that's the other downside of taking that approach. Unintentionally taking the approach. You ever thought of making videos, making different channels, or making different content, or make other content as well as apart from video essays? I've considered it. Like, I've considered like doing like a side baking channel and stuff, but the more I think about it, the more I have to bear in mind that it is more work, and how that factors into work-life balance stuff. It seems far more disruptive than it does helpful. And I know quite a few of you here really like the baking stuff, but I get the impression at large the rest of my community doesn't give a shit about it, which is fine, you know, it's their call, it's not for everyone, but it is a bit disheartening when it's something that you have such a passion for, but no one else really gives a damn, and you can't encourage people to feel that passion for it, which is a shame, because everyone should bake. It's a wonderful thing. It makes you feel great. It has been one of the most helpful things for my mental health in a very, very long time. Subscribe for Japanese loneliness, stay for the cats. I mean, yeah, they're a good reason to stay around. They are both adorable. They are both in my line of sight right now. I will show them later on. A few of the folks I work with have been working for a while. A few of the folks I work with, I've been working with for a while, so I often do things for variable pay. I'm well acquainted with the lucrative and often paltry nature of revenue. Yeah, it's no joke. Like, it's... Yeah, the revenue stuff, like, a lot of people see that as, like, when people ask for patron stuff, like, they just see it as nickel and diming people. Like, they just want more money on top of a supposedly lucrative amount of money that they're earning from revenue. Absolutely not. People make their nut from Patreon. YouTube revenue, like, you know, if you're getting like 2 million, maybe 1 million views in a video, you can make a living off that without a patron, and not a great living either. But Patreon and other ways of subscribing, whether that's coffee or buy me a coffee, that is how people survive off that stuff. YouTube revenue, not reliable at all. You feel bored of video essays, then what's your plan? Well, I mean, I'm bored of other people's video essays, and, you know, that's not a critique on the quality of their content. It's just, it's not what I'm into watching anymore. Thanks for answering. No problem. And, you know, like I said, if you do want to make a video or anything like that, like I said, just have fun with it. Really that simple. Just have fun. Don't worry about all the other stuff. Also, I can confirm about the randomness of getting popular. I used to make anime compilations and have like 3K subscribers, which is more than people who deserve the attention. Make that 4K. Yeah, it is. It's random. Like, YouTube and getting noticed on YouTube is about, you know, I don't believe in luck as a concept. Like, luck is a way that we as humans try to find some kind of explanation for the chaos of the universe. But luck, YouTube's algorithm is about as close as you can get to a personification, well, not personification, but a solid, like, what's the word? You know, a solid, like, it is the basis of, like, the concept of luck, YouTube's algorithm. Alright, well, tell you what, I need to take a quick break because I desperately need the bathroom. A little bit more information you probably needed. But yeah, I don't have a question of the day. Epitome, yes, thank you, Dylan. I don't have a question of the day. Who's got a good... Someone give me a good question of the day for people, and I'll pin it on there as well. It's all on you, people. A lot of people do not realize that all views and clicks are not equal on YouTube either. Only certain types of material gets very good money per click, per click ratio, and a lot of those things are finance related. Very, very, very true. Yes, all clicks, all views and such are not equal. Like, it can be very, very different. Question, why do you hate Ellison? Full paragraph, please. I do not hate Ellison. I have nothing against Ellison. Are a great looking class. Follow-up question, why are you wrong? Well, kind of just back yourself into a corner there since I said that they were good. Question of the day, what is a topic you can talk about for hours on end? I like that question. Yes, let us have that one. Right, let me get that pinned. Also, I should make it clear, I picked the first one. The first person that posted a question of the day, just because I'm really badly in need of the bathroom. So yeah, I'll be back, give me about 5 minutes or so. And yeah, answer the question of the day. It's pinned at the top if you need a reminder. Be right back. Alright, welcome back. I've had my drink, I've done a pee, and I'm ready to go. You ever like, not to be vulgar, but you ever like when you need to go to the bathroom when you need to pee, and you're so like delayed on it that like you have to pee for like a minute and a half. It just feels like it'll never stop. It was that kind of thing, you know? I'm sure you all needed to know that. By the way, I have my guitar with me. It's just because I need to do a little bit of stimming and keep my hands busy. You probably won't be able to hear it, but yeah, it's just for my benefit. I won't sing and perform. God knows people don't want to see that. Alright, let me catch up. So yeah, question of the day. What can you talk about for hours on end? What's my favorite icebreaker? It's a good icebreaker. And one other one. Oh yeah. Also was, what gives you contentment in life? Being successful, isn't it? No successful people are never that content. That is true, yeah. What gives me contentment? I don't know. I'd say doing things for other people gives me contentment. I, you know, like doing nice things for people, being helpful, and, you know, doing something unexpected for them. There's a big reason why I like baking, because, you know, it is something that people always appreciate. So yeah, that'd be my answer for that. Good question, Chaos Lab. And if you had to use one ingredient in meals for the rest of your life, what would it be? I'm going to be a bit of a cheat here and say salt, since that's, you know, very useful in every single thing. But if we're talking about general other ingredient, butter as well. Butter is a good fat to use in cooking. Actually, no, salt. Salt would be the better one. Fractals, I can talk about for hours, and coding fractals. Interesting. Yeah, it's not something you'd hear often from people. Also video game bugs, probably. Ah, did you used to be a tester or anything like that? For me, it's Gravity Falls, my favorite show ever. And I'm a walking Gravity Falls encyclopedia. I've never seen an episode of Gravity Falls, but every time I've seen a clip of it or a GIF or whatever, it has intrigued me. One day I'll have to go out of my way for it. It doesn't look like, it looks like a pretty good show, I will say that. Being an academic has ruined my life because the answer is always my research. I mean, hey, Dylan, I've seen the stuff that you talk about, and you know, that's interesting stuff. Just today I had a lengthy, albeit one-sided conversation on the different hats worn by two contrasting Murdoch mystery characters, and built different. Indeed, yeah. I will admit, I've never heard of Murdoch Mysteries. For a moment I thought you were going to talk about the Murdoch family, the dynasty of media owners. At least I study pop culture, so some people know what I'm talking about sometimes. Yeah, you know, pop culture is a good way of, like, getting in touch with people, like, appealing to them. That's generally, like, how I get talking to people, like, you know, talking about, like, shared interests and whatnot. Although, much like I found out in the research of my last video, many millennials and Gen Zs don't really watch like TV and movies these days. So yeah, like I find a lot of times when I end up asking people, hey, have you watched this? It's like, no, I only watch people on Twitch. Okay, well, we have nothing to talk about then. No offense if you mostly like watching streaming content. I mean, you're here right now, so can't complain. David Lynch content. Oof, that would make for an interesting conversation with people. Yeah, David Lynch is great. I enjoyed including that little clip in my last video of him getting very upset about people watching movies on their phones. And also where the good cosmic horror is at. I mean, David Lynch does some very good cosmic horror. Some of his stuff is like, ugh. Makes your hair stand on end a little bit. We've got to the return now, but I kind of got bored, so I'm hoping it gets better. I heard it does. Horror good. I'm a little baby boy when it comes to horror stuff, I won't lie. I can talk about the Ace Attorney series for an ungodly amount of time. I do love the Ace Attorney games. In fact, one of the tracks at the start of the stream was from the Jazz album that they made for the Ace Attorney songs. Yeah, I only played them after they did the remasters of them, but I'm glad I did, because those are some very fun games. Shu Takumi needs to be hired again to make another Ace Attorney game. Close second is the main story of Final Fantasy XIV. Lord, I need to grow up. I mean, hey, it's a good story, you know? Especially, I mean, my favorites are like, not in order, Heavensward, Shadowbringers, and Endwalker. Although I would put Shadowbringers on the top. Are you excited for the first localization of the Miles Edgeworth investigations too? Jay. Well, I'll answer that too. I am also quite excited about that, so at least now I'll be able to complete the set, I guess. I'm surprised that we're going to release it. I had a bunch of credit on the Google Play Store that I was very tempted to spend on the Edgeworth games that are on there, but I held back, and then just like a couple days later they announced that they were making those. I'm like, dodged a bullet. You make thumbnails for competitive Pokemon players. I never would have guessed that, but neat. Sounds like quite a bit of fun, to be honest. I'm slowly going through his movie catalogue. I haven't watched all of them yet. The man is old and likely won't be getting any new films or anything like that. Yeah, probably. If anything, he'll probably make like a Netflix movie, I imagine. Maybe even a show. What's been your favourite film so far, Tremolo? Or films? Lahi, yes, lahi lahi. Oh, na, 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 na. God, I heard that song so many times. I can and should do a whole PowerPoint on the architecture of a specific Canadian post office built in the 1800s that also accidentally affects my comic story. That's a very specific subject right there. Could be interesting though. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Wait, that's a capo on the second fret, I think? Don't know if that can be heard. Probably not. My noise suppression is on, I think. One second. No, that's not it. I've never learned Wonderwall before. I just know that the capo is on the second fret. Oh well. Salari, did you know that mammals have a standardized length of pee time? Something like 26 seconds. Don't quote me, look it up, it's fascinating. That sounds about right though, 26 seconds, but it's surprising that it's across all mammals in that case. Weirdly enough, recently, my wife and I looked up, like out of morbid curiosity, what was the longest piss of all time? Like, what was the, what took the longest? And there was no solid answer for it. But outside of that, we saw like someone like, what is the most piss stored in a person? And it was something like 7 liters or something like that, maybe even more. Apparently the person is dead, or they found them dead with that much piss inside of them and hadn't released. I can't remember. But yeah, funnily enough, even though there's plenty of Guinness World Records and all kinds of weird things, the longest piss wasn't one of them. Hey, maybe that's a goal I could work to in life. Maybe that will bring all the viewers into my YouTube channel. Hey, is that guy that makes video essays and has the world record for the longest piss. Another very weird out of context statement now. If you have problems with after dribble, comes with a longer tooth. Bend forward so your spine is horizontal and squashes your bladder. Oh, good to know. Because, yeah, for those with penises, come after me, YouTube monetization. It's yeah, that can be a problem, and apparently something that's more common with people who have diabetes as well. How is everyone doing with this talk about urination and leftover piss, leftover in the penis? Highbrow stuff here today. Do you play any sports? I do not. I used to do martial arts. I used to do Aikido, and used to be quite into it. But due to an unfortunate incident, which I don't think I've spoken about on stream before, I ended up dropping it. The closest I got into playing sports was playing... I used to play a bit of basketball when I was a kid, because I really hated football, like soccer, which, you know, is a sin in the UK since everyone loves it there. But I found it really boring. I found basketball way more interesting, but I don't play it anymore. And the closest thing I got to enjoying watching sports was actually esports, which I used to religiously watch Dota 2. But these days I mostly just watch fighting games, tournaments. I'm looking forward to EVO. I'm especially looking forward to the Grand Blue Fantasy vs Rising tournament, because I haven't seen much of that being played at a pro level, and I want to get better at the game because it's very fun. England are playing, buddy. England suck. I don't know much about football, but I know that the English football team sucks. I speak to my friend often who has encyclopedic knowledge in football, and even he tells me all the time, like, yeah, don't bother, like, England will not win anything big ever. Gravity Falls is a delight, so I have heard. Hello, Starfish Face, how are you doing? Nice to have you here. You joined just in time for the piss talk. It's like an alternative to the TED Talk, you know? A big yellow something, you know, the TED Talk, they have the TED in the background. That's what I'm going to do now, except it'll be a big yellow sign that just says piss. Oh god, that's hot. Peppermint tea. My favorite mystery show is Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. I've never heard of that either. Only mystery shows I liked recently was Poker Face on Peacock, which was a very, very fun show by Ryan Johnson, who did Knives Out and Glass Onion. Very, very fun show. With Natasha... What's her name? She was in Orange is the New Black. Natasha Lyonne. Yeah, which she's great. She's always very fun to watch. There was no solid answer. Well, yeah, you need to look up the liquid answer. I like that. That's good. Are you streaming on Twitch too? No, I used to stream on Twitch. But the problem when you're a YouTuber and you're not a massive YouTuber or anything is getting people to come over to another platform. So I did stream on Twitch for a good while, probably over a year actually. But I noticed that there wasn't like much growth on there, so I was like, oh well, you know, I have an audience on YouTube, may as well try on there instead. So I moved here, and even though it's not bad, even though I've been having less technical issues on YouTube, the main issue is that YouTube just doesn't have all the features that Twitch does. Like, you know, you can't do giveaways, which I would like to do. You have like less audience interaction tools. Like, it's very, very limited compared to Twitch. But I'm not surprised, given that, you know, Twitch is the live streaming platform. But YouTube has a lot of money behind it, so they really should play catch up. They just don't want to, I guess. I love Twin Peaks. I watched Lost Highway of his most recently. That one was wild. I want to watch it again. Apparently it's the first of a sort of trilogy compilation. Lost Highway, Inland Empire, and Mulholland Drive. Okay. Do you have, I watched Twin Peaks a good while ago. I watched it at a time in my life where I probably wouldn't understand it very well, so I need to rewatch it someday. My wife actually watched it a couple of years back, and she really liked it. I can get you the chords for Wonderwall. Well, tell you what, I can pull it up. Wonderwall chords. E minor, G, D, A7, sus4. Okay. And yeah, capo, second fret. I'm not gonna play the whole thing or anything. That would be awful. And if I'm honest, I don't really like Wonderwall. But let's see. Oh my god. I was completely off on the starting chord. I did G, it's actually E minor. Yeah. I'll say 7/4 sus. Okay. Wait, that's wrong. Yeah. That's it. There we go. Anyway, there's Wonderwall. I don't know. Was that very audible? Like I said, I'm not plugged in or anything, and this is not an acoustic. Where'd my chat go? Oh, there it is. Longest piss, probably Andre the Giant. He would drink 2 dozen without going to the bathroom. Good God. I feel like no wonder he died. What did Andre the Giant die of? Have you been watching House of the Dragon? Last episode was probably one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones ever. I'll be fully honest with you. I do not like Game of Thrones. I tried it a good while back around the time of the first season. But at the same time, I'm very iffy with fantasy stuff. Some of it lands. Some of it just... Yeah, like Final Fantasy XIV. I really like Final Fantasy XIV. And I liked Final Fantasy XVI, which was like hardcore fantasy in that one. But Game of Thrones, yeah, just never did it for me, unfortunately. Yeah, sorry. But I've heard plenty of good things. But at the same time, given the way that Game of Thrones ended, I do feel a bit vindicated that I didn't get invested into it since it didn't end very well. But it's about the journey, not the destination. But then again, it is a TV show with a long story, so the destination does matter quite a bit. Me and my partner sort of have the same sort of weird research quest, but it's about the number of nipples that dogs had. And what has your research, what have your studies come up with? What's your conclusion? Isn't it like 10 or something like that, the average? What programs do you use for drawing? I use Fresco. My husband uses Canva. I don't draw. Unless you're asking Starfish Face, since she's an artist. She's an excellent artist. Whenever I used to draw, and I've been trying to pick it up again recently. What's that? Rowan, thank you very much for $10 dues. This is greatly appreciated. I will use that wisely. Perhaps I shall buy half a Netflix subscription. But thank you very much, Rowan. That's really kind of you. It's still so hot. Oh my god. Wash it down with some wine. That's better. Oh yeah. Life hack for you. Who here gets brain freeze when eating or drinking cold things? Because I get it when mostly when I eat ice cream, and it is awful. I never used to get brain freeze when I was younger, but now I've started getting it, and good lord, is it powerful when I get it. But I have a hack for you. It's not something that you can have readily available. Now people say, now the reason that you get brain freeze, or at least the reason people theorize, is because the soft palate at the top of your mouth gets too cold, and that basically transmits that pain to like your the cerebellum, I think. I can't remember. I'm not a science person. I'm dumb. But yeah, because that part gets cold, it passes that to your brain, and it gets really, really powerfully painful. So one thing you can do if you're in a pinch, and this is sort of well known, is if you rub the soft part of the top of your mouth with the back of your tongue. That can help because you're trying to basically warm up that soft palate. So rubbing it can help with that. Oh, I just realized that Rowan had a message with theirs. I got paid today, let's go. Party parrot, party parrot, party parrot. Elbow cough. Thank you very much again, Rowan. Yeah, it doesn't show the messages for some reason. I'll have to look at those settings. It might be another YouTube thing. But I found a very, very effective hack to stop brain freeze in its track. And this is only really something you can do when you're at home, since, you know, you'll see. So, let's say, you know, you're sitting down to have some delicious ice cream, maybe some salted caramel ice cream, mousse tracks, cookie dough, whatever you like. Have a cup of warm to hot, warm temperature water on the side, just a little cup of it. You don't need much. Just have some ready, on the ready. Now, if you start getting a brain freeze, take a sip of that warm / hot water and just hold it in your mouth for a little bit, making sure that it makes contact with the soft palate at the top of your mouth. That cancels it out immediately. It's like I just found it out once. Like, it was just a random thing that I found out. I didn't see it on the internet or anything like that. I just thought to myself, like, well, I know that the coldness of the soft palate is what's causing it. So I just did an experiment one day. I just ate a bunch of ice cream, waited for it to happen, and then took the sip and I thought, it's gone. So yeah, for fellow brain freeze sufferers, give it a try. It works wonders. I only remember the brain just because the other day we went to IKEA and we got some of the frozen yogurt there, and I started getting brain freeze, and it was the worst I've experienced in my life. Felt like my brain was just gonna split in two or something. England wins cricket. Yeah, I mean, cricket and occasionally rugby are the things that England has a decent time at. But soccer? Yeah, Oasis. Wonderwall was a gigantic hit worldwide. It was an interesting one, and Oasis had some very good songs. It fell off a bit, and I'm not too interested in their solo works. Noel Gallagher is a very funny guy, although he did say some mean things about Radiohead back when it was like 1996 or something like that, which he needs to take that shit back. Made fun of them for making sad music, basically. It's like, wait, what the fuck? Hi, Drama Alert. How are you doing? How may I help you? Well, this is odd. I'm not the only one seeing this, right? Here for cool stories. Okay. Well, how's your day going, Drama Alert? You might be disappointed, because I'm a pretty drama-free person. It's ironic, since I was just talking about earlier how I don't like YouTube drama. Netflix is $20 now. Thereabouts, yeah. I mean, it ain't cheap and it keeps going up. Scientific name for brain freeze is great. What is... Oh, wait. Sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. I can kind of understand what that means. I don't think I've ever got brain freeze. I'm just sensitive. That's honestly enough. Yeah, I mean, sensitive teeth is pretty damn awful, to be honest. I use toothpaste for it. I use Critter to draw. It's 100% free and overall a good program. Oh, okay. Yeah, I use Clip Studio. I've never tried Clip Studio myself, but yeah. I need to try it. I don't like usually because I used to draw all the time. Like I used to be really into it. But then like as well, I just sort of fell off over time. But when I used to draw, I used to use an ink pen. I think it was called a Rotring, R-O-T-R-I-N-G ink pen. It was like sort of a fountain pen kind of thing. It was a really, really nice thing. It felt great to use. So I just did like inks and that was it. I never really got into colors or anything. I never trained a lot, to be honest with you. What kind of things did you draw? Mostly people. Like I liked comic book art quite a lot. What was it? Like kind of like stuff by like the Preacher comics. I used to like that. A lot of the Neil Gaiman comics, like Sandman, that kind of thing. And a Capcom artist called Bengus. I really liked his artwork. He worked on like the Street Fighter Alpha games, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Really great, clean, expressive drawings that he would do. So yeah, that kind of area. I tried to be flexible with it, see what would work. And of course, when I was a teenager, I went through my embarrassing drawing, making terrible Dragon Ball style drawings as well, and failing on every occasion. But yeah, I was kind of like, went for what I liked, really. I was never good at drawing environments or anything like that. Welcome back from your meeting, dear. How did it go? Good. Clip Studio is a really good program, but it suffers from too many button syndrome. Looks really intimidating at first. I mean, that's how I felt about like a Photoshop, and still do feel about it if I'm honest. Beans are almost done cooking. Thinking about those beans. One topic I could spend hours talking about is Bell's palsy. Half face gets paralyzed due to stress affecting the nerves of the face. Yeah, I don't know much about Bell's palsy. I've heard bits here and there. I used to, quite a while ago, like I was really experiencing some stress, and I started feeling like tingling in one side of my face, and that had me real worried, to be honest with you. Luckily I never felt it since then. But yeah, that was a really stressful time though. Yeah, Rotring is a pretty well-known stationery brand, and they do make really good stuff. Those ink pens, or drawing pens, whatever they call them, are somewhat hard to come by. I think you can get them on Amazon, but finding the legit ink cartridges can also be a bit of a pain too. Also, hello Regen, how are you doing? The Tremors films are some silly fun. Yeah, Tremors films, they're very fun films, those ones. It's been a while since I've seen one, but I do remember enjoying them. Me too, my style is very American comic book. Yeah, there's some really great American comic book artists, especially from like the 2000s and 90s. What was his name? One that I used to really like that did the Uncanny X-Men was Joe Madureira. It was a very 90s style of illustrations, but the coloring work was amazing. The line work was so wonderfully expressive and strong. Yeah, I really like that. When I used to buy the comics, it wasn't him that did every issue, like it was sort of alternate between other artists, but whenever he did an issue of it, like I was always really excited for it, because I was ready to like basically do versions of, like I would copy the stuff out of that, so I would always break out my sketchbook whenever he had a version that was out. That sounds very nerdy. But yeah, one thing I did like the ink pen drawings for was the illustrations in some of the issues of Sandman, especially like I used to like drawing similar things to similar styles to like how Dream or Morpheus or whatever you want to call him in his 20 names, because I really like that sort of Robert Smith style wild hair, and working with inks just allowed you to like be a little bit messy with it, not worry too much about things looking out of place or anything like that. I found that I had more fun like being messy with drawings, like not worrying about precise lines or anything. Oh yeah, and one of my other favorite artists growing up was the artist for the Metal Gear Solid series, Yoji Shinkawa. He worked in the medium of also inks, but he used brush pen, which is very difficult to work with. But I used to try and emulate his style using an ink pen as opposed to a brush pen. But yeah, I really loved his work. I still do love his work. It's so great. Chat drama. I don't know if you still hear drama alert, but yeah. Was that the same guy that did the Darkstalkers art? It was, yes. Yeah, Bengus did pretty much all the 90s and early 2000s fighting game stuff. Until Street Fighter 3, I think. Bengus worked on those. And he's done some of the like endings for Street Fighter 6 as well. Yeah, no, that's some of my favorite art still on that one. I remember one time I drew the like it was a group pick thing for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. One sec, let me look it up. It was like the cover art, not the American one, because that was terrible. 1 second. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have the original. But yeah, here's the original that I made. I did all this, like I was getting very ambitious, but yeah, this is what I ended up drawing at one point when I was about like, I don't remember what age I was, but definitely not experienced enough. I didn't use traces or anything, but yeah, very good artist. And that took ages. That took like a month to draw all that stuff. Because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 had a lot of characters in it. Hello, doing well. How's everyone doing? I'm good, Regen. Glad to hear you doing well. Nice to have you here. Speaking of drawing, I need to start a new art account somewhere. Instagram sucks, not queer content friendly. How's DeviantArt these days, out of curiosity? I get, like, I don't know about this stuff, but like, I get the feeling like DeviantArt's not like the go-to anymore with this kind of thing. Given that there's like so many other venues, and I know that people were upset with DeviantArt over the AI stuff. But you know, that was a fair thing to be upset about, given that they were using people's artwork without permission to create that stuff. Meant to make them yesterday, but got home from swimming, and my girlfriend and I went. What? Ugh, my God, I can't read. Meant to make them yesterday, the beans, but got home from swimming and my girlfriend went, I want pizza, and I totally forgot. It's funny you say that because after this stream, I'm going to be having some bruschetta pizza. Because every time I finish streaming, I'm just like, I can't be bothered cooking. I thought about doing an OnlyFans for not safe for work art. I mean, that's, from what I've heard, that's where you get a lot of money out of it. Either that or being a furry artist. Like, if you're a good furry artists, like, you can live like a god. I'm stuck on Tumblr for life, unfortunately. Cannot tear myself away from that nightmare website. You know, I've never been a Tumblr user. I looked at it like a few years back because I was just interested. I was like, you know, oh, what's the, you know, what do people like about this place? And I gave up on trying just because I was like, I do not know how to use this site. This seems like the least intuitive site that I've ever come across. I expected it just to be like people's webpage. I kind of expected it to be like a, I don't know, like a MySpace thing or something, but nope. Not like a social network thing, but, you know, individual pages that you could easily get to. Shinkawa did some cool art for Metal Gear Solid back in the resurgence of the Kamigawa. Yeah, Yoji Shinkawa's artwork was phenomenal. And he started originally, I think, as a technical artist. So he ended up doing a lot of like the mecha designs and vehicles in Metal Gear Solid. But he ended up transitioning into drawing people as well. And it's such an interesting yet minimalist style on details. Let me pull up some stuff just to give some illustration. No pun intended. Yeah, so this is Yoji Shinkawa, one of my favorite artists. Yeah, so he uses the brush pen, a little bit of line work as well with some, I think he uses the Sakura microns. But yeah, really stark details. Like, just look at like how the face there's like so much ink on it, but it's still so distinct at the same time. It's still moody, and yeah, I just really love that about it. Some other things as well. Yeah, sometimes incorporated color into as well. Like, he actually did this artwork here, like he did a tribute to The Last of Us Part 2, and this was his work, and that's, you know, Ellie and Abby and Joel there. Really wonderful stuff. And like, as he's gone on in his career, he's like started incorporating like gradients into it and everything. In fact, I remember once a friend made for me a 3DS pouch that had this on it, actually, Solid Snake on it, and she did it in this exact style. But let me find it. Give me a couple minutes. I know where it is. It'll just take me a moment, but I will show you this very wonderfully made slip that she gave me. One moment. Be right back. Alright, yeah, this is... I'll show you from this distance because my autofocus isn't on. Anyway, actually, let me switch to my phone camera. I'll get you a better view that way. It's just really neat because this is all embroidered. And it's very, very precise. Okay, one moment. Way is up. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah, like I said, that is all embroidery. You wouldn't think so from such a distance, but yeah. And on the other side, there's the boss. Neat, right? If you hear knocking, that is Curie kicking a box. Yeah, really wonderful work. It was very sweet, and even on the side, it goes all the way through. Sadly, there's no more 3DS inside of it. It's literally just a pouch. It's literally just a pouch now. Yeah, I managed to hold on to it for all these years because that was actually for the original 3DS, the big one. AI art is screwing everything up. Indeed, yeah. It's getting weird. I saw Tremors for the first time recently. What did you think? They're the first one had Kevin Bacon in, right? Speaking of drawing, I need to start a new art account somewhere. Oh wait, I just read that. Silly me. My eyelid starts twitching whenever I get stressed. I get that too, yeah, and it's not fun. It is so distracting. whenever I get really stressed, I have a very, very weird symptom where my foot starts vibrating like a phone. It doesn't look like it's vibrating from the outside, but I feel it. Just, I think it's like a nerve thing, but you have no idea how it sounds simple, but you have no idea how annoying it is. Like, it is so annoying. It's like the most distracting thing. And when you have something like that with ADHD, terrible combination. Now that you mentioned Sandman, do you think the Neil Gaiman allegations are going to affect Sandman and Good Omens? That is 2 queer shows we can't let be ruined because of a straight author. Hard to say, really. Like, you know, no, you don't really know which direction stuff like this is going to go, or what, you know, validity to it. Of course, they absolutely should be taken seriously, but it's hard to know until like stuff like this goes further into an investigation and people figure out what's happening with it. Even so, a person's reputation can be pretty tarnished after something like this, and it could potentially affect their will to work. And you know, it is a shame, like, when people out there that are representatives or serve as representation of, you know, queer people, of trans people, etc., are unfortunately thrown into this. And, you know, I think in many ways, like, we expect people to be like perfect, and sometimes we just need to like temper expectations on people. Like, the thing is, like, with a lot of people that I really admire now, I'm always like a bit reluctant to admire them too much to the point where it can end up hurting me if they end up doing something bad. Like, you know, as I mentioned before, like, I adore Radiohead, and I would be absolutely heartbroken if someone like Tom York turned out to be an absolute chud. But yeah, with Neil Gaiman, it's just sort of a wait and see scenario, I think. You know, if he's guilty of those allegations, you know, I won't have anything to do with them anymore. But, you know, it will be very, very disappointing. By the way, is anyone having like connection issues or something? Because I noticed that it drops really low there in bitrate. Yeah, Neil Gaiman's had allegations put his way, pretty bad ones too. Tom York is my husband. Tom York is a beautiful man, and I didn't realize this despite being a Radiohead stan, but apparently Tom York doesn't know how to read music, which is a big surprise to me given how gifted he is. I mean, I don't know how to read music, but, you know, I'm also not Tom York. Yeah, if you're interested in Radiohead, there's a podcast called Bandsplain that did a couple episodes on them, which is really good because they get like into the musical nitty gritty of it, like, you know, why so many things are special in their music. It's really worth listening to if you're a fan of them. Hey Salari, I regret to inform you that DeviantArt is horrid now, sadly. Yeah, I had a feeling it's kind of gone downhill. Like, I don't know, I hate the fact that like a lot of artists have to like resort to things like Twitter and Instagram to get this stuff out there. You know, DeviantArt, you know, it's never been perfect. Far from it. Stream's been dipping a little, but I thought it was me. Yeah, it's in the red right now. It says 400 kilobytes. It's going back and forth. Up it goes, down it goes, up it goes. So are you all having issues now? Because I get a feeling you're all having issues now. I might have to restart the stream. Although I don't know, is restarting the stream good on YouTube? I don't know. Because with Twitch, if you restart quickly enough, it doesn't send out alerts or anything. But YouTube, only explore territory. It looks like it might be fine now. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to fret over this stuff. but it always is in the back of my mind, given how I've had such issues in the past. Damn, we're talking about this stuff and I'm literally across the room cutting shallots and crying like a dog. I wish there was a good way to counteract the tears that onions and shallots cause, but I've never found anything. When your girlfriend says they want pizza, take that priority over all dinner plans. Absolutely. Plus, you know it's pizza. Everyone wins. Apart from your cholesterol. That takes a hit. You can turn off auto disconnect on YouTube and you can disconnect and reconnect. Oh, okay. By auto disconnect, do you mean like the end stream thing? Where is that in my settings? Enable auto stop, enable auto start. Okay. Is it either of those? Starfish? I don't know why I called you Starfish there. I always call you Star, but why not? Wine good. Indeed. Chin chin. I know you shouldn't hold it like that. You should hold it like this because it warms it up if you hold it like that. Yeah, so disable auto stop. Okay. Alright, well, right now it's stable at 6,000-ish. If it drops again, we'll give it another try. Why did you suddenly sound southern when you said freschetta pizza? Freschetta? How did I sound? Oh, freschetta? Freschetta. That'd be southern, right? Howdy, y'all. Let's go get some of that freschetta pizza. Freschetta pizza from the Piggly Wiggly. Oh, this fits my phone, actually. Let's get some freschetta pizza from some Harris Teeter. Step by the Walmart. Pick us up cans of Budweiser. God, that's terrible. Yeah, we're talking about this and Jesus, I'm reading back through things. To be honest, finding a good fandom niche and just hamming it up there will make you good money. I did YCHs that paid for several snakes. It's not a statement you hear every day. Although I think I'm going to have to ask what's a YCH. So I haven't heard that before. I can't hear y'all from over here, but I need a moment to clear my eyeballs. Should get like one of those, the chemical, the eye wash stations. That'll be handy like one time a year. Yeah, I feel like Tumblr is hard to join. I'm super ingrained in it after 13 years, but I know it's hard to start fresh. Yeah, I just like, I think I actually set up an account, but yeah, I don't think it like, I couldn't get like, I couldn't glean like how to operate it, so I just bailed on it right away. Magic the Gathering, I meant. Oh, okay. Oh, Magic the Gathering, not Metal Gear Solid. Okay, the Yoji Shinkai. I didn't realize he did art for that. No. You know who grow into really cool painters? Architects. Yep, my nephew, he recently graduated with an architecture degree. Hope it works out for him. It's a very tough line of work to get into. There's a whole Shinkawa secret lair set. Oh, yeah, I'll have to look that up. I always love seeing his art. I really need to play Metal Gear. My girlfriend even bought me all the games for me, and I haven't yet. I'm the worst. You know, it's, yeah, Metal Gear, the old games might have dated quite a bit, so don't be surprised to see some questionable dialogue in there. But some of those games have, like, thematically aged very, very well and became very, very prescient about future events, especially Metal Gear Solid 2. Metal Gear Solid 2 had the future pegged. Like, that game came out in 2001, and it like practically predicted social media and what it would become. It is almost terrifying. It's like clairvoyant stuff. AI is also infecting Pinterest, and that is very bad because I use Pinterest to get going with my drawings. It's just getting everywhere. Like, it's, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I think like there might be some useful tools, useful ways it can be implemented. In fact, I was talking to my wife the other day and I said like sites like, for example, Facebook. Like Facebook has like what, 1.5 billion users. Like that is impossible to properly moderate. And there's a lot of people who moderate Facebook that see really, really awful things. Like people have been traumatized or as employees of Facebook who moderate content on there. Like genuinely traumatized. I think there's actually a Vice documentary on it or something like that. So working AI into moderation tools, like that could be a useful thing. Especially Facebook, because you know Facebook is a cesspool. Like that needs to be done. I mean, I know those 1.5 billion users aren't active, but still, like, it's probably close to 1 billion active daily users. Like, you can't moderate that with human beings, sadly. I mean, so long as they're kept human moderators at the same time. But at the same time, like I said, they end up seeing some really awful things. Like, I remember watching this documentary and it was a moderator under anonymity, and they were saying like, you know, they've ended up having to go to therapy, they're on medications, and yeah, like, just they described some of the stuff they'd seen, and honestly it was stuff that you actually couldn't imagine. Like, it was so bad. My husband's really into Yu-Gi-Oh! That is a trading card game that outgrew the anime/manga is based on, and now is an unstoppable machine. I didn't expect it to be that popular in this day and age. I never got into Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. I didn't like the cartoon. I didn't like the art style of the cartoon. But yeah, Tom York doesn't know how to read music. Johnny Greenwood does though. Johnny Greenwood is an absurdly talented musician, musical prodigy from a very young age. Learned a lot of stuff on that podcast about like the kind of influences that he's had. A lot of 20th century composers has made its way into their work. And yeah, disgustingly talented guy. Bold of you to assume that Instagram and Twitter help share our art. Well, you know, it's, I mean, the tools available aren't great, but what I guess I generally mean that is that it sucks that the sites that you know that predominantly exist to share the artworks of people and whatnot are the ones where it feels like the least viable venue to share these things. I have to head to bed, but hope everyone has a good rest of their day/night. Regen, thank you very much for stopping by. Greatly appreciated. Hope you have a good, and what was I about to say? Hope you have a good night. A good restful night. Whatever. See you later, Regen. Once again, I'm playing catch up. There's a few onion/shallot tricks, but these ones are getting a bit old, so nothing will help. I've heard that like having something menthol in your house, menthol in your mouth, like a mint or chewing gum, can help. I'm not sure if it's true. I've never tried it, but I've heard. What's a topic I can talk about for hours on end? Honestly, death and how it influences a person and society's every decision. Not what other people want to talk about though, lol. Yeah, that's true. It's a difficult one to pitch as a conversation topic, that's for sure. But you know, there is truth to that, yeah. Like, death is a major driver in how we live our lives, and even how we don't live our lives, making us reluctant to try things that may put ourselves at risk. It's definitely had a big influence on my life and my works, that's for sure. And I will say that I have successfully like toned down a conversation or like won an argument or a debate using the line, look, we're all gonna die someday, way too often. I've even used it in YouTube videos before, probably like twice. And it's just like, you know, we don't need to waste all this time. We're gonna die someday. Let's not spend all this time arguing over this stuff, alright? Life's too short. Life's too short is a mantra that everyone should live by, because it's true. Disable auto stop, that way if you disconnect for any reason it just pauses the stream and let you reconnect, but you have to remember to end your stream manually in the YouTube interface. Okay, I actually had the auto stop enabled already, so that's good to know, because like I said, I didn't know shit about this stuff. I know that the end stream thing, like I have that set to do that, but yeah, good to know. Thankfully it looks stable now. YCH equals you choose it / your character here. Ah, this is where you make something of a design and leave a character open to add. Okay, yeah, I've never heard of that before. I think most artists are YouTubers or TikTokers now. Instagram or Twitter doesn't help much. Well, Dear Star here falls into that category. But yeah, you know, Instagram and Twitter, I guess, well, you know, there are certain artists out there that have that reach. Like, they get a lot of exposure over it, but as a fledgling artist, yeah, I can't imagine it being very valuable. I do not envy the position that you artists are in, most definitely. I mean, my father-in-law, he's a very talented artist, and even he struggles to get his stuff out there, despite being extremely good at watercolors. Metal Gear Solid 3 is basically the most feminist game to ever be released. It's basically what got me through high school as a femme gamer nerd. Yes, it is a very empowering game, and two of its most resourceful and powerful people in that game are women, including the boss and what's the name? I'm drawing a blank on everything right now. The spy that manages to get one over on Naked Snake, the big boss. Ava, that's it. Yeah, very, very... Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my all-time favorites. I really hope that they don't botch the remake. Back now, I had to manhandle a kielbasa. Boy, if I had $1 for every time I said that. It's terrible. What's your daily routine? I mean, as soon as I wake up, I have breakfast pretty much straight away. Either some like breakfast biscuits, which I've been having recently, which is just a quick filling thing that I have. The Belvita biscuits. I'll have a cup of tea in the morning, some English breakfast tea. I'll relax for a little bit because I'm not one of those people that likes to get right into my day. I cannot comprehend how people are able to wake up, jump in the shower and go to work, like get all their shit out of the way straight away. How can you do that? I like to just like relax maybe like an hour or so, and then like I'll just like start picking up work. I'll just carry on with that, take some decent breaks throughout the day, get up and walk around just a little bit every hour or so. If I need a longer break, I'll go walk around my apartment complex, taking some vitamin D with my headphones on, listening to some music, or my earphones, sorry. Then after I'm done working, I'll end up like making some dinner. Try not to order out very often, because you know it can be bad for your health doing that. And then sit down and watch a bit of TV. We'll catch up on the shows that we've been watching, occasionally watch a movie, and then settle down in the evening, play some video games or what have you. Try to vary that up a bit. So yeah, that's a sort of typical day. Nothing too thrilling, admittedly. But let's try and stay relaxed, you know? Routine can be a nice thing, but it's also good to break it every now and then. I've been thinking of starting a YouTube channel for art, since other social media seems impossible, and I have a book to promote. Go for it, yeah. You know, if you're ever one of those people that's considering setting up a YouTube channel, just go for it. Like, I know it seems like a daunting task, but I was talking about this earlier, I don't know if you're around, but if you want to start up a YouTube channel, go with it with the intention of having fun. Don't go with the intention of having success. If it's something out there for people to see, it's something out there for people to see, you know? Whether they see it or not is out of your hands, but you can try your best. What do you think of Instagram's channels? Imagine a private Twitter, but in Instagram DMs. I can't follow more than 5 at the same time. Admittedly, I am out of touch with Instagram. I read up on stuff to do with it, and I hadn't heard of channels until you just mentioned it. But seeing all these other sites like trying to create their own Twitter, especially Meta-owned things, I'm not too keen on the idea. Just because they've demonstrated with Facebook that they can't properly moderate it. Are Facebook threads still a thing? I heard they were a thing for like a month and then people just gave up on it, which I'm not too surprised at. But yeah, I mean, Blue Sky is fine. It's better moderated than Twitter, but it doesn't have as many users. But yeah, I mean, I just don't like Instagram in general, to be honest with you. Like the whole ethos behind it, and the fact that it's created so many lifestyle influencers who just ultimately make people miserable just because they're trying to put themselves out there as regular people, which they're not. Like the influencers on there, they're not regular people or anything. They're different, you know. They're a brand, they're not really a person, and all of that inadequacy there is built up in a lot of people. It really bothers me, and the fact that a lot of people can't even see that inadequacy has been developed in them, just rubs me the wrong way terribly. Shut down all social networks. I will be fine with that. If I woke up tomorrow and found out like there's no social media anymore, you know what? Here's to you. I have an Instagram for my craft projects and I get the weirdest DMs sometimes. Looking to share some? I'm always interested in the weird stuff that people run into online. Reddit has stuff that Facebook will never reach in height. Reddit can be useful. Reddit can have some awful sides to it, but it can also have useful stuff. Like if I ever have tech problems, generally I will type in like my problem and then add Reddit to the end of it, because there is every chance that there is someone somewhere out there in the world that had the same problem and has a solution to it. So it can be very useful for that. Although I will admit I've never really been a Reddit user, and when I was starting out making videos, I tried to put some of my videos on Reddit so I could do a bit of self-promotion, but Reddit and its subreddits are asinine at times, in that like if I wanted to post my videos on, I think it was like mealtime videos or something like that, they have a rule where you can't post your own videos. So I'd like ask my wife if she could post it with her profile, and they were just like no self-promotion. They let her post it, but for me, yeah, it was like no self-promotion. I was like, okay, well, what's the difference between me posting it and my wife posting it? Like, it's going up there regardless. So yeah, it's so many ridiculous rules on subreddits, and yeah, God forbid that people want to self-promote themselves, you know? Like, no, you can't self-promote yourself here. You gotta struggle. We won't let you self-promote yourself because we've been making things too easy for you. Hi, hello, how are you doing? Nice to have you here. I am going to be wrapping up soon, just so you know. But yeah, nice to have you here regardless. How's your day going? Regarding death, you should try Frennen Beyond Journey. I just finished it today. His plot is of an elf who relives life after her comrade, who as human dies quickly. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. I haven't heard of that before. Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes was very good, yeah. Short, sweet, an expensive demo, but yeah, it had some great moments in it. I'm one of those morning people that wakes up and immediately gets going. If I lay in bed after waking up, I get super restless. How do you get going that quickly? I honestly don't understand. How do you do it? I've been thinking about an art channel too, besides also wanting to do essays. Go for it. Just go for it. Any YouTube I do would be related to my comic, and doing anything like that right now would flop so hard. It wouldn't be fun at all. Maybe another day. Yeah, that is, you know, if you're doing it for, that is, you know, one of the unfortunate side effects is like, if you're already someone that's struggling to get your work out there, and you put it up on another venue where it doesn't do very well, that can be a bit, it can hit, you know. I mean, one thing you can do, like if you're an artist, you could try doing a time lapse of you drawing your artwork, whether it's like painting or doing it through software, what have you. Record it and make like a time lapse out of it. It's a neat little way. Put it up as a YouTube short or something, like a 2-minute one. It's something, you know, and people love seeing that stuff. YouTube has its problems, but it's been a huge benefit to my art career, so I've been recommended it to folks in similar fields. Yeah, I mean, the worst thing that happens is your video just doesn't get seen by many people, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I was just on a podcast talking about YouTube with other comic folks. Episode's not out yet, though. No. Well, once it comes out, if you want to share it in our Discord, you're more than welcome to. We have lots of artists there, so I'm sure they'd appreciate it. Thread symbol, if you rotate it 90 degrees, is the sound thra in my language. Which language is that? Would we still have Discord? I'd miss talking with you. I think, you know, I don't think Discord counts as social media. I don't consider it as such, since it's more of a chat platform than it is a posting platform. To me, like, a social media platform is qualified as something where people publish something, like, you know, image or text with image, video, etc. And that post is engaged with, and given a format of something like Facebook or Twitter, that original post has way more power than its responses, because, you know, if you have a post out there, which if you want to see other people's reaction to it, you have to click on the reply button, which a lot of people don't. So it dominates a conversation where people don't have to look at the rest of the conversation. Whereas Discord is just a continuous conversation between people. There doesn't really tend to be any like dominant party in that kind of situation. So yeah, I'd say Discord's off the hook. Back in the old days, Facebook had a limit on how much you scrolled down, and anyone used to log off quickly had time spent off screen. I can't remember the time before this heavy social media world we had wished like those days would come back. Yeah, those older days, they were a bit more healthier in the way that social media was handled, and that healthiness was born out of its limitations, to be honest with you. Reddit scares me and I don't know how it works. To be fully honest with you, I don't really fully know how Reddit works, other than upvotes and replying to shit. That's it. That's all I get from it. And every single subreddit has weird, very bespoke rules about stuff. And also, Reddit mods have some of the biggest egos in the world, and they absolutely shouldn't. The only reason I keep my Insta profile is to stay in touch with my friends and keep them up to date with what's going on in my life. Yeah, like I technically have a Facebook account. It's deactivated, but I still use Messenger on Facebook. And that is purely so I can keep in touch with my friends back in England. And that's it. Like, I don't want to have a profile again. Facebook sucks. I've seen that it's only gotten worse since I last used it. I think I haven't had an account for like past 5 years now or something. It's been a while. But yeah, if it wasn't If my family learned how to use Discord, I would delete my Facebook account like that. I'll be like, I'm done here. We're good. I'm good. And I say this as someone who met his wife through Facebook. Speaking of which, hello. Okay, well, someone has to love me enough to promo for me. Yeah. One would hope. If I see the Tates in my Instagram feed one more time, I'm gonna blow a hole the size of Chernobyl in something. The Tates? We're talking about Andrew Tate or anyone else? Catherine Tate? I've done a time lapse before. It did all right. Yeah, like I said, keep at a, you know, try the time. The time lapse, I think, is always like a safe option when it comes to art related content. And they're super easy to make as well. You know, you just record it and put it through DaVinci or whatever, turn the speed up like 10 times, and there you go. Easy content. Honestly, I have a fear of Discord going down and me not having the numbers of people I care about on there. Yeah, it is kind of amazing that Discord has held out for this long, being a pretty decent platform. It has moderation issues, but they've done more on that over time. I wonder where it's going with its monetization, because right now it isn't bad. You know, Discord Nitro is a bit of a rip-off for what you get out of it, but they have improved it over the years. But like, you know, paying for those adornments on your profile and all that kind of stuff, like, you know what, they're not, I mean, I'd never pay for them, but as ways of earning money, there are far worse ways of doing it. And at the very least, I mean, the thing that's miraculous is that they haven't given up their screen real estate to add space to anything. Like, props to them for that, really. Just popping in to say I love your videos, keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, Salty Stitches. I greatly appreciate that. How's your day going? Assuming you're still here. If not, have a good day. Of course, you couldn't hear that if you have gone already. Okay, I'm tired. Oh yeah, I guess I'm taking a quick comic break in a few weeks, so I could try doing some promotional stuff then, but maybe take the time off to take a break. I know that you say you work a lot. Breaks are valuable, you know. Yes, Andrew Tate. Ooh. Yeah, if I got Andrew Tate promoted to me on any platform, that's the moment where I delete my account. I don't know what came before sequel, and now I'm just too afraid to ask. I mean, asking anything on Reddit always comes with a risk attached to it, because you never know if there's going to be someone that's just waiting there to, how do you not know this? Social media is important for that stuff. Like, I just got back in touch with my grad school advisor, and it's because she has an Instagram, so I could reach out. She quit academia, so she wasn't checking her academic email anymore, as far as I could tell. Yeah, that's, you know, ultimately, at the end of the day, social media does have its uses. It has been very useful. Like I said, I met my wife over Facebook. You know, it helped me fall in love, and it changed the trajectory of my whole life. It can be a useful tool. That's the thing with social media, though. Like, it's one of those things that, like, could be beautiful. It could be a, you know, a marvelous tool for people worldwide, but because of algorithms, because of advertising and all that kind of shit, it's just been made so much worse. Like, it's poisoned itself with all this stuff. And, you know, that's just because they want to keep people looking at the damn screens and keep people scrolling past ads and everything. So yeah. But then again, I guess you could say that about the internet as a whole. It could be good, but it isn't, because monies. I remember when Asmongold was playing 14 and named Alphanode the Redditor. That's pretty good. It's a shame that Asmongold sucks. He's doing like He started like getting into all that anti-woke content, didn't he? I've seen a few things pop up every now and then, but it's like, come on, dude. You already have enough money. You don't have to like you don't have to pander to these people. Then again, it might just be he might feel that way for all I know. It probably does. I don't know. He's probably too busy making reaction videos. Very underwhelming ones. I'm still here, by the way, just vibing in the general atmosphere. Oh, still glad to hear. It's very late on your side, Pograj. I have my advisor's phone number now, though. Oh, there you go. Another way to stay in touch that doesn't involve Facebook. Always a win. Love my ex-advisor, and they truly changed my life in so many ways. That's great. Always great to have someone in education that had such a great influence on you. My old math teacher would probably be that person in my life. Could be beautiful, but unfortunately capitalism. Indeed, that's how it all works, really. Industry castrates the most wonderful things in our society. We live in a society, as they might say. I haven't been getting luck with dating apps. I keep getting hookup matches. That sucks. I do not envy anyone that is on dating apps these days. But then again, I can't blame them, because finding dates the natural way seems like a nightmare. But best of luck with it. I'd probably hedge my bets on like multiple dating apps if I was in that situation. Or be like bizarrely forward about my situation. Just put in my bio like, you know, I'm desperately alone and need companionship, please. You never know, someone might be out there like, you know, oh, okay, I'll give him a hand. And that's not an innuendo. I slept accidentally from 6 PM till 10 PM, so I feel healthy now. That is a hefty nap. I considered making a video once on dating in the modern age, and I wanted part of it to be like actually going onto like Tinder or whatever and like putting my making a profile, and obviously I'd include in the bio like I'm making a video. I'd like to speak to you if you have any stories to share about your experiences. But I couldn't really think of like a you know, a good core argument to the whole thing, other than the fact that it is a bit of a nightmare, and it sort of depersonalizes people by turning them into, you know, an algorithm and a supposed metric for how well they match with you and everything. Because, you know, you've got an app deciding your compatibility with other human beings. You have an app guessing how human beings work, despite being extraordinarily complicated creatures. What if social media would collapse back into itself like a neutron star? I mean, a lot of people would suddenly have to find some new hobbies instead of posting on Twitter all day. But, you know, a void would be created, and I'm sure there would be a gold rush for every single tech bro to try and fill that niche. And every single one of them would be just like, you know, now that social media is gone, we're looking to disrupt the industry with a new form of social media that no one's ever thought about before. It's called, you know, we'll call it Twitter. The old one was called X. We can use Twitter again. Haha. Except they can't use Twitter. They still own the rights to that name. What is anti-woke, by the way? Is it just right-wing? It basically is like right-wing stuff. It's people that get like upset about like inclusion of people of color, LGBTQIA people, anything that just like hints towards progress and inclusion. The anti-woke people are just a bunch of babies, to be honest with you. Which is kind of ironic, because they're always the ones that complain about, like, you know, policing people, and, you know, progressives getting upset at everything. Like, anti-woke people are the most upset people on the internet. I had a few token cishetes in my life, so I sympathize with the condition, but my god, I'm glad that I'm bisexual and T4T. Yeah, I mean, bisexuality and pansexuality definitely opens up the your options, that's for sure. I like your video about movie theaters. I found I still enjoy the experience, but that's bolstered by taking my daughter. I can imagine, yeah. You know, my wife and I don't have children, so we don't get to sort of experience the majesty of cinema through a fresh set of eyes or anything like that. For us, it's just like sitting down and going through this cynical experience, albeit a very unhygienic one. But I'm glad you liked the video. Took to see Puss in Boots, The First Wish, and since we've been across the Spider-Verse, Star Wars Episode 1, Back to the Future, and Matilda, and it's been a good time if you can curate it. Yeah, that's a great selection. I love all of those. Not Star Wars Episode 1, no. Yeah, like, what was I about to say? I mean, curated experiences are really good. Like, if you can get your kids introduced to like older media, so they have like some feel for how it contrasts against newer stuff, I think that's a good thing. Also, fun fact about Back to the Future, and I realize I may have shared this before in a previous stream, but what's his name? Who made Back to the Future? Robert Zemeckis. Yeah, Robert Zemeckis has said the reason why you haven't seen a Back to the Future remake is because of Robert Zemeckis being a goat, or whatever the kids say. He has a unusual situation when it comes to the rights of Back to the Future, and that is that the studio doesn't fully own the rights to Back to the Future. Robert Zemeckis does, or he might own the majority of the rights. And he said that so long as he's still alive, there will never be a remake or reboot of Back to the Future. And he also feels that by doing so, it will be very disrespectful of Michael J. Fox, who has advanced Parkinson's. So, you know, he's gone through a lot of struggles. Great. Like, I love that. Like, Back to the Future, I rewatched it recently, and it's still great. It still holds up. So yeah, there doesn't need to be a reboot. I'm pretty sure as soon as Robert Zemeckis dies, though, movie studios will go grave robbing. So yeah, expect that. So in other words, Robert Zemeckis has to live forever. I thought there would be wine. There was. Although, spoiler alert, not spoiler alert, plot twist, this was not wine. It was blackberry and lemon. Gotcha. I don't like wine at all. Sorry, I know I betrayed a lot of people there. I know I will never be trusted again as a result. But here's a large cup of vodka. Oh yeah, I got this from IKEA the other day. They do gamer furniture now, and they have this gamer cup. As you can tell by its abstract patterns on here, this is clearly aimed at gamers. So if you're not a gamer, you can't drink from this cup. It's illegal. It's made me a 10 times faster gamer purely by drinking out of this almost entirely metal construction cup. It came with this metal straw. If you want to improve your gaming, then get this cup. It was $10. You can buy the cup, fill it with whatever liquid you want. Mountain Dew, Monster Energy sugar free, Robinson's fruit juice, liquids. You can fill it with liquids, and it holds it. It's a cup, and then you can drink from it, from the supplied straw. And what do you know? You become a better gamer as a result of it. So gamer cup. I don't remember what they call it in IKEA because they give them weird names. If you want to be a top tier gamer. Also, when I was looking at that gamer furniture that they do now, they had like some keyboards out for the fake displays and everything, and one of the keyboards had like all of the keys plucked off of it, and it just had like other people putting keys in different places on it. It looked very presentable. Clip my pitch for the IKEA Gamer Cup. Hey, I do need some YouTube shorts, they keep telling me. Our local media has had a kids film series this summer and a deal for $8 and a drink, small popcorn and candy, and that's helped a lot. Yeah, stuff like that is great. Like, you know, get people through the doors, stop overcharging people. You know, as I mentioned in the video, like, just a night out for a family of 4 being $100, or, you know, even if you're a family of 3, you know, that's like $75, $70, something like that, without snacks into account. Yeah, it's just way too expensive. And, you know, when you got parents going to see a movie and they don't like the kids' movie or something, and they had to pay more for the ticket, that's just like salt in the wound, really. I haven't caught a live stream in ages. Hello, Aviva. How are you doing? I am going to be wrapping up shortly, though, because my voice is getting raw. I am quite hungry. This stream has gone on longer than I anticipated. But nice to have you here. How are you keeping? FYI, the new directors for Star Wars aren't woke. They just suck at their job and delude themselves into thinking it's good. Yeah, the problem with modern Star Wars, yeah, the stuff about it being woke is bullshit. Like, you know, that's not the problem at all. The fact is that, like, all the modern Star Wars movies try too much to be like old Star Wars. And the problem with Star Wars as it stands in this day and age is that the original Star Wars was inspired by, like, excuse me. The original Star Wars, still not clear, was inspired by other film genres. Like, one sec. Yeah, gotta go, but I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the day. Rowan, thank you very much for stopping by, greatly appreciated. And yeah, thank you for stopping, and thank you for the donation as well, Rowan. Thank you very much, very kind of you. But yeah, the original Star Wars was inspired by Japanese cinema like Kurosawa and westerns. Yes, westerns and samurai movies. Very good genres like, you know, Sergio Leone, and like I said, Kurosawa, Seven Samurai, etc. And that is where he got that idea from. And it worked out really, really well. Whereas Star Wars today is just inspired by Star Wars and the idea of Star Wars, as opposed to like any other film inspirations out there. And that's what makes it not work. It's just repeating. It's just like an Ouroboros of the same idea being gone through over and over again. And it's boring. Like, that's why it doesn't work. It's just like the same thing. And something like The Rise of Skywalker, it was literally just a slideshow of like, remember this, remember this, remember this. And you know what? I'm sure some people love that. More power to you. But that's not filmmaking. That's just reminding people of stuff. Like, yeah, wokeness was not the problem of Star Wars in any kind of way. Even, you know, if you are to accuse it of wokeness, it was weak wokeness, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's just people being babies saying stuff like that. People being babies who actually don't understand why there are flaws in its storytelling, structure, and characters, like all that kind of stuff. Nonsense. Yeah, it's media as content. Yeah, it's not. It's comfort, content, nostalgia, all that kind of stuff. And that's the problem with a lot of movies. I really wanted to go into this more in the video about movies, about like how just stuff is content now, which, you know, a lot of things are, and that isn't to undermine the amount of work that people put into things, because, you know, a lot of work goes into it. But the way that like studios craft this stuff, the way that they want to put it out there is just that this is going to be a comfortable 2 hours of your life because it's things that you recognize. It's, yeah, Birdie, I believe you're referring to the memberberry stuff there. Yeah, it's just remember this, and it sucks. But they keep doing it, and I really hate it. You know, it's I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but at the same time, it's just like, can we let people make movies? There are so many great directors and writers out there that are good to go. Like, they could even work on these Star Wars movies and Marvel movies if they just let the fucking studios stay out of the equation, you know? Just let directors direct, let writers write, and stop trying to pander to the audience and their need for nostalgic recollections. There's no point to it. People are sick of it. I left this stuff out of the video just because it's like, if I write about this, I will go on about it forever. But yeah, let it go. It's holding you back, alright? Like, fuck stuff like Stranger Things as well, that try to like, ooh, the 80s, remember this? You remember this song, right? You remember Coke in those like completely straight line cans, you know, the when you pull the ring pull off instead of actually just keeping it there. Yeah, just let it go. Let's look to the future, see what else is ahead, work on the future. If you keep focusing on the past, all the future is just going to go right ahead of you. You know, all the things that are supposed to be good and positive about the future are going to be neglected because we're so focused on reliving what made the past a great thing, and the past wasn't so great. The 80s fucking sucked. The 90s fucking sucked. Like, just read through any kind of encyclopedia entry about the 90s and you'll see, wow, that time was shit. Anyway, I'm done with that. Pardon me. Right, well, tell you what, I'm going to wrap it up there. You can probably tell my throat is kind of giving up. But yeah, thank you very much for watching today's stream. Oh, hang on, I have to do the thing. Oh, good lord. Hope I don't lose my voice after this. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching today's stream. I'm sorry for those of you that showed up late to the stream and I will not be able to continue longer. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm losing it. But yeah, I'll be back next week. Hopefully the same bad time, same bad channel. And I will try and do another baking stream too. I think I'm gonna make millionaire shortbread. Since it's been a while since I had it, and it's one of my favorite treats, and it's pretty simple to make. But yeah, I'll let you know in advance when that stream's gonna be. I've been trying to back off on doing the baking streams just because I didn't want to do them too often because I feel like they'd be less special that way, and there is a ton of setup that goes into doing them, so I need to give myself a little bit of a break. But thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for the kind channel memberships that were given, especially Tanda and your gifts that you gave out, and Rowan, I know that you're gone, but thank you once again for the donation. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. You are loved and accepted more than you know, and I will see you around. And join the Discord if you haven't already. Lots of lovely people there. Take care, everyone, and thank you for coming.